Kind of going off of how social media is changing, what do you think as a digital marketer, what should your approach be now to Instagram and kind of how that leads into other platforms as well?
Again, I think brands should focus more on creating a story and authenticity. Definitely planning out their content and making sure that everything that they post connects to each other to like form one major story. So like an Instagram feed is the book, and each post, I guess you could say, is like a chapter or a page in the book. That's the way I think it should be on Instagram at the very least, and same with other platforms as well. And you know, there's TikTok and stuff is on the rise, so I know a lot of people are probably posting randomly on there, but there's also a lot of people who are creating stories around their personality on that platform. So you know, if like people are dancing, or if there's like somebody who's dancing on TikTok and his brand is around dancing, then the rest of his post should be focused around that like personality type, to attract that audience that wants to see that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the one thing also by Instagram removing likes, I think digital marketers should keep in mind that if one platform's doing it and they're now kind of the leaders in that space, and like we applaud them for taking that step forward and realizing that this is a problem, we're trying to create a solution for it. But a digital marketer should understand if one platform's doing it, most likely other platforms are going to follow suit pretty quickly in one way, shape, or form. I don't know exactly how the other platforms would go about it, but even Twitter's CEO applauded Instagram for doing this. So you can kind of see that other platforms will follow it. That means that your strategies that you're doing now might not work that much. So my recommendation to digital marketers or digital strategists is 100% authenticity and brand storytelling. So instead of you posting a lot of content that's just to get likes, now you should be creating a story and kind of getting the community to buy in and become loyal to what you're doing. Being a thought leader in the space. I think any brand that's on social media right now, on Instagram, that's trying to be a thought leader, removing likes is going to give them a huge opportunity, because people are going to get drawn to it because they like the content, they're going to engage with it. As for other platforms, I would say they should really follow what the trends are and where things are declining, what the audience segments are. So Facebook, the primary segment's 45-year-old mothers. So if you're whatever you're doing, that's your Facebook. LinkedIn, obviously very professional, and seeing kind of how that algorithm works. And then TikTok, as we discussed, that's the 12 to 16-year-old market segment. It's a fantastic platform. It's growing really, really well. But what you talked about, making sure that they all come together and their storytelling are part of a bigger objective, a bigger book.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, social media change and what their impact on mental health, a digital marketer needs to be following this trend consistently, because I think if a social media strategist is relying on Instagram right now and they're only relying on Instagram, they're unfortunately going to kind of fall off the map. You
can't stick to one platform.
You can.
You can go hard on one for sure, but definitely distribute yourself around different forms of media, right? Like, so if Instagram's your main thing, dabble a little bit into Twitter, into Facebook a little bit, TikTok maybe a little more, and as well as LinkedIn, and then as we're doing right now, podcasts, right? So everyone's strategies are gonna vary a little bit, but definitely sticking to one platform is, in the long term, it could be a recipe for disaster. Because once Instagram, if Instagram's your main platform, that's the only platform that you're on, once that falls off a little bit, or even a lot, just like how Facebook did, then your brands could be done for, right? So,
and I think that brings up a good point. It's kind of what content are you putting out there, and how can you put it on other platforms in another way? So, for example, a lot of Instagram models are going to really suffer from this. They should be freaking out, because a lot of Instagram followers have created this hype and clout based off of a false perception of what they stand for and the amount of likes they're getting on posts. I'm not gonna talk bad about anybody, but there's a lot of pages out there that are just literally girls with their booties out or whatever, and they have a bunch of followers, and those they're gonna suffer because they're gonna lose that influence very, very, very quickly. So for example, if you're a model in the space, figuring out how to create your brand now more on TikTok or how to professional creator or whatever, and not just relying on Instagram, because it's going to be a downward spiral for those individuals. But if you use Instagram correctly, as it's changing too, I think there's a huge opportunity for anybody to become a thought leader, whatever space you want to be in.
Have you seen any models on LinkedIn by any chance?
No, and I actually do think if a model was to create
a brand on LinkedIn,
in a thought leadership way and be kind of a
tell their story through modeling.
Yes, and show what the realities of that world is like, and how you can create positive change and influence and philanthropy or whatever.
Yeah.
Honestly, LinkedIn
that'd be pretty awesome. Yeah,
it would be awesome.
Yeah,
but LinkedIn, by far the most underutilized platform,
for sure.
And that's because a lot of people don't understand it, or they're too afraid to post because it's a professional platform and they don't know what they can and cannot post.
Yeah.
Which you have to be careful about, because that's your professional brand and you want to keep it that way. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that goes back into our main point. All our social medias are very different.
Yeah.
Figure out what content pieces, but if you're relying on one stream, you're eventually going to die out.
Mm-hmm.